Hi students, this is Srinivas, Department of Botany. This video was shooted with cell phone camera. So, I request you to use your earphones. Okay, thank you. In the previous class, we discussed about outbreeding devices. Now, I am going to explain about pollen pistil interaction, shortly called PPI, pollen pistil interaction. That means pollen grains are transferred from anther and then to stigma. There, the chemical components of pollen grain and the chemical components of stigma interact with each other. That's why it is so called pollen pistil interaction. Chemical components of pollen grain and the chemical components of pistil interact with each other. That's why it is so called pollen pistil interaction, shortly called PPI, that is pollen pistil interaction. That means all the events from pollen deposition on the stigma until the entry of pollen tube into the ovule is called pollen pistil interaction. That means all the events from pollen deposition on the stigma until the entry of pollen tube into the ovule is called pollen pistil interaction. It is a dynamic process. What are the events in pollen pistil interaction in the correct sequence? That means pollen deposition on the stigma. When pollen grains are released and they fall on stigma. So pollen deposition on the stigma. Next one, when pollen grains are fall on the stigma, those belong to right type or wrong type, the decision will be taken by the stigma. Right type means compatible type. Right type means compatible type. Wrong type means incompatible type. What is that right type and wrong type? Right type means pollen grain of same species. Pollen grain of same species. That is, if pollen grains are fall on stigma of pollen grain of hibiscus will fall on stigma of hibiscus, it will be called compatible type or right type. If pollen grain of hibiscus will fall on stigma of datura or another plant, it will be called as wrong type or incompatible type. Did you understand the compatible and incompatible, my dear students? Recognition of compatible type or incompatible type of pollen grain by the stigma. There will be the recognition occurs whether the pollen is of right type, that is same plant species, wrong type, that is another plant species. That recognition should be done by chemical components of pollen grain and also the chemical components of stigma. That's why it is so called PPA. Next, if it is the same type means the pollen grain is able to produce pollen tube. That means acceptable. If pollen grain is of another plant, pollen tube does not form. It is so called rejection. So acceptance or rejection of pollen tube. Whether the pollen tube is formed or not formed, it means if it is right type, pollen tube is formed. If it is wrong type, pollen tube is not formed. That is, if pollen tube is formed, it is so called pollen tube germination. If pollen tube is not formed, inhibition of pollen tube. So acceptance or rejection of pollen tube, or in other words, germination or inhibition of pollen tube. Next step, entry of pollen tube into the style, entry of pollen tube into the ovary, entry of pollen tube into the ovule. All these events you have to say in the correct sequence. Try to remember, my dear students. All these events you have to say in the correct sequence. So first point, what is that? Pollen deposition on the stigma. That means transfer of pollen grains from anther is not the event. After the pollen grains deposition on the stigma, from that point onwards, this PPI, that point will come under PPI. Transfer of pollen grains is not the event of PPI. Pollen deposition on the stigma. Next, recognition of compatible type or incompatible type of pollen grain by the stigma. Acceptance or rejection of pollen tube. Entry of pollen tube into the style. Entry of pollen tube into the ovary. Entry of pollen tube into the ovule. Here you have to say ovule only. Don't say embryo sac. The events that do not come under pollen pistil interaction. What are the following events do not come under pollen pistil interaction? Transfer of pollen grains to the stigma. Transfer of pollen grains is not the event of pollen pistil interaction. And fusion of gametes. Fusion of gametes. That is not the event of pollen pistil interaction. These are all the events of pollen pistil interaction. These two are not the events of pollen pistil interaction. There will be the interaction between chemical components of pollen grain and the chemical components of stigma. That's why this interaction will depend upon chemicals. That type of movement is so called chemotropical. So that is, the growth of pollen tube is chemotropical. What is that? Chemotropical. Chemo means chemical. Tropical means movement of pollen tube. So growth of pollen tube is chemotropical. Now look at this figure. Look at this figure, my dear students. See, this is LS of flower, that is longitudinal section of flower showing growth of pollen tube. Growth of pollen tube. See, this is the ovule. This part is ovary, style and stigma. These are the pollen grains. This pollen grain is unable to produce pollen tube. That means what we have to note, if this ovary, this gynoecium part is hibiscus, this pollen grain is not belonging to hibiscus. That point we have to remember. So here pollen tube is formed, here pollen tube is formed, here pollen tube is formed. That means this gynoecium and these pollen grains belonging to same plant species. So pollen deposition on the stigma. The stigma contains some chemical components. The pollen grain also contain some chemical components. There will be the interaction between these two, that is pollen grain and the stigma. So then this type of growth is called chemotropical. Next, pollen tube is formed. Pollen tube is formed. Growth of pollen tube from the pollen grain is called pollen germination. What is pollen germination? That is producing the pollen tube through germpore of pollen grain. What is the function of germpore? That is, through germpore, pollen tube is formed through entyme of pollen grain. So the pollen tube is formed. Now the pollen grain with the pollen tube enters into style, enters into ovary, enters into ovule. All these events come under pollen pistil interaction. Right. Next one, this pollen tube enters into the ovule in how many types? Entry of pollen tube into ovule is of 3 types. That means pollen tube enters into the ovule is of 3 types. How many types? 3 types. That is porogamy, chalazogamy, mesogamy. What are those 3 types? Porogamy, chalazogamy, mesogamy. Poro means pore. What do you call the pore of ovule? Micropyle. So poro means micropyle. So the pollen tube enters into the ovule through micropyle is called porogamy. Pollen tube enters into the ovule through chalaza is called chalazogamy. Through integuments or funicle is called mesogamy. What are the examples? Porogamy found in Vottilia and hibiscus. Chalazogamy found in Casuarina. Mesogamy found in cucurbita. So that means pollen tube enters into the ovule. Don't say embryo sac. Pollen tube enters into the ovule in how many ways? 3 ways. Porogamy or mesogamy or chalazogamy. Here we have to say ovule only, but not embryo sac. Whenever the pollen tube enters into the embryo sac, which one helps in guiding the pollen tube into the embryo sac? See, look at this figure. This is the embryo sac and this is the egg apparatus. This egg apparatus contains central cell called egg cell. On either side of egg cell, synergids are present. Synergids contain filiform apparatus. Filiform apparatus found in which cell? Synergids. Synergids contain filiform apparatus. Filiform apparatus found in synergids. What are the functions of filiform apparatus? That means filiform apparatus help in guiding the pollen tube into the embryo sac. That means it guides the pollen tube to enter into the embryo sac. And also this filiform apparatus absorbs the food materials from nucellus and supplies to embryo sac. So what are the functions of filiform apparatus? Guiding the pollen tube into embryo sac. Next one, absorbs the food materials from nucellus to embryo sac. These two are the functions of filiform apparatus. Very, very important. These two are. Next, the pollen tube is produced through germ pore. Through which part of pollen grain that pollen tube is formed? Means we have to say germ pore. The role of germ pore. The function of germ pore is producing pollen tube. Producing pollen tube. So the pollen tube is produced through germ pore. Germ pores found in exine or entine? Those germ pores are found in exine. Exine is made up of sporopollenin. So a germ pore of pollen grain. The pollen tube enters into embryo sac through one of the synergids. Through one of the degenerating synergids, you have to say. Of those two synergids, one synergid is going on degenerate. So the pollen tube enters into the embryo sac through one of the degenerating synergids. Through one of the degenerating synergids. Like this, the pollen pistil interaction will occur. Naturally, this pollen pistil interaction occurs in naturally in plants. Pollen pistil interaction occurs in compatible type or incompatible type. Compatible type, that is right type. That means pollen grains of hibiscus will fall on stigma of hibiscus, then only they germinate. Hibiscus pollen grains will fall on datura stigma, will they germinate? No. So that is the right type or wrong type. So naturally this pollen pistil interaction occurs in compatible pollen, that is right type pollen. In plant breeding, the plant breeders, that is scientists, will do crossing in between incompatible to get desired hybrid. Naturally means we have to say compatible. We gained knowledge in pollen pistil interaction. By knowing the knowledge in pollen pistil interaction, we can also breed the plants between incompatible pollen. Incompatible pollen. So naturally, this pollen pistil interaction occurs in compatible pollen, that is right type pollen. We can also do this pollen pistil interaction even in incompatible pollen, that is wrong type, in plant breeding by the plant breeders to get desired hybrids. No, please note down all these points, my dear students, once again. Now I want to explain about how does the pollen grains are shed at 2-cell stage and 3-cell stage. In 60% of angiosperms, the pollen grains are shed at 2-cell stage. In 40% of angiosperms, the pollen grains are shed at 3-cell stage. This is the schematic representation of 60% of angiosperms, that is majority of angiosperms. See, this is the pollen grain. This pollen grain is covered by how many wall layers? Outer exine, inner entine. This pollen grain divides by mitosis and form two unequal cells. Unequal cells means what type of division? It belongs to asymmetric. My dear students, try to remember, this is asymmetric spindle. Aprotype formation will be occur in the first mitosis. So when pollen grain divides into two cells, this is mitosis. What type of mitosis it is? Asymmetric. That is, unequal cells are formed. The larger cell is called vegetative cell and the smaller cell is called generative cell. This two-cell structure is called partly developed male gametophyte. This partly developed male gametophyte contains number of cells 2, number of nuclei 2, large irregularly shaped nucleus found in which cell? Vegetative cell. Right. After the formation of two-cell pollen grain, the pollen grains are liberated from the anther. This pollen grain falls on stigma of the flower. See, that means this is before pollination and this is after pollination. When pollen grains fall on stigma, there will be the interaction between chemical components of stigma and the chemical components of pollen grain. This is so called pollen pistil interaction. Pollen grains fall on stigma Next one, the pollen grain produces a pollen tube. Which layer is helpful in the formation of pollen tube? Intine. Through which part pollen tube is formed? Through germ pore. So germ pores are useful for producing pollen tube. So the pollen tube is formed from intine of vegetative cell. Intine of vegetative cell. Pollen tube is formed from intine of vegetative cell. As this pollen tube is developed from intine layer, pollen tube is made up of pectocellulose. This is the vegetative cell, this is the generative cell, this is the pollen tube. Now, this generative cell undergoes next mitosis, that is second mitosis, and form two male gametes. Generative cell divides by mitosis and form two male gametes. So the mother cell of male gametes is generative cell. So one pollen grain produces how many male gametes? Two male gametes. This part is before pollination and this part is after pollination. Before pollination, how many mitosis will occur? One mitosis. This is after pollination. After pollination, how many mitosis will occur? One mitosis. So, for the formation of two male gametes from each pollen grain, number of mitosis required 2. Of those 2 mitosis, first mitosis is a asymmetric spindle. Second mitosis is a symmetric spindle. Symmetric spindle. It is normal type. This second mitosis is also called first mitosis after pollination. After pollination it occurs. So second mitosis is also called first mitosis after pollination. So what are the points I have to remember means in 60% of angiosperms, pollen tube formation, male gametes formation. Of these two, which are formed first? Look at this figure. Initially pollen tube formation occurs, later male gametes formation occurs. Isn't it? Initially pollen tube formation occurs, later male gametes formation occurs. That point you have to remember. In 60% of angiosperms, first pollen tube formation occurs, later male gametes formation occurs. Look at these points. One pollen grain produces two male gametes by undergoing how many mitosis? Two mitosis. First mitosis belongs to asymmetric spindle. Where does this occur? This mitosis occur inside the microsporangium of anther. Inside the microsporangium of anther. So first mitosis occurs in anther. Second mitosis occurs in pollen tube. See, where does the second mitosis occur? Inside the anther. Generative cell divides into two male gametes. That is, second mitosis occur inside the pollen tube. So first mitosis occur in anther, that is microsporangium. Second mitosis occur in pollen tube. These 2 points are very, very important, my dear students. Try to remember. Okay. Before pollination, how many mitosis occur? One mitosis. After pollination, how many mitosis occur? One pollination. The ratio between number of mitosis in before pollination, after pollination is 1:1. In 60% of angiosperms, pollen grains are shed at 2 cell stage. How many cell stage? 2 cell stage. What are those 2 cells? That is vegetative cell and generative cell. First pollen tube is formed and then male gametes are formed. Isn't it? First, which structures are formed? Pollen tube is formed, and then male gametes are formed. Pollen tube carries the two male gametes not from the beginning. That means first pollen tube is formed and then later male gametes are formed. That's why we are saying like this. Not from the beginning. Pollen tube developed from which layer? Pollen tube is developed from intine. From which cell? Vegetative cell. In both 60% of angiosperms and 40% of angiosperms. In 60% of angiosperms, generative cell divides and form two male gametes during the growth of pollen tube in stigma. That is, growth of pollen tube occurs in which part of the flower? Stigma. Pollen tube growth occurs in stigma. That is, in both 60% of angiosperms and 40% of angiosperms. Try to recall all those points. My dear students, please note down all these points. Now, in 40% of angiosperms, how this occur? This pollen grain divides into two cells, vegetative cell and generative cell. That is first mitosis, which would be asymmetric spindle. Okay. This generative cell divides and form two male gametes. This will be considered as second mitosis. So that means total how many cells are there? 1, 2, 3. One vegetative cell and two male gametes. Right. This is the three cell structure pollen grain. That is completely developed male gametophyte. After the formation of these three cells, pollen grains are liberated. Pollen grains are shed. In 40% of angiosperms, pollen grains are liberated at which cell stage? 3 cell stage. Whereas in 60% of angiosperms, pollen grains are liberated at 2 cell stage. So the pollen grains are deposited on stigma. This is the figure. Deposited. Now this vegetative cell produces a pollen tube. From which cell the pollen tube is formed? Vegetative cell. From which layer? Intine. So that means pollen tube is made up of pectocellulose. Why? Because intine is made up of cellulose and pectin. So try to look at this figure. Here male gametes formation and here pollen tube formation. Of these two, which structures are formed first? First male gametes are formed, later pollen tube is formed. This point we have to remember. First male gametes are formed, later pollen tube formation occur. Whereas in 60% of angiosperms, initially pollen tube formation occurs, later male gamete formation occurs. Try to remember this point. You have to remember this point, my dear students. See, before pollination, how many mitosis? 2 mitosis. After pollination, how many mitosis? 0. The ratio between number of mitosis that occur before pollination, after pollination means you have to say 2:0. Try to concentrate on these points. One pollen grain produces how many male gametes? 2 male gametes, similar to 60% angiosperms, by undergoing 2 mitosis. First mitosis is a asymmetric spindle which occurs in anther. Second mitosis symmetric type which also occurs in anther. Try to remember first mitosis and second mitosis. Those 2 mitotic divisions occur in which part? Anther, in 40% of angiosperms. Whereas in 60% of angiosperms, that first mitosis occur in microsporangium of anther. second mitosis occur in pollen tube. Those points you have to remember. And in 40% of angiosperms, pollen grains are shed at 3 cell stage. What are those 3 cells? One is vestigial cell and the other 2 male gametes. First male gametes are formed, later pollen tube is formed. Pollen tube carries the 2 male gametes from the beginning. Whereas in 60% of angiosperms, pollen tube carries the 2 male gametes not from the beginning. Here 40% from the beginning. That point you have to remember, my dear students. Pollen grains which are shed at 3 cell stage contain 2 male gametes. Is it true or false? It's true. Pollen grains which are shed at a 3 cell stage never produce pollen tubes after germination. That means whenever the pollen grains are shed and they fall on stigma, can they produce the pollen tube or not? Yes, they produce pollen tube. Here the question, never produce pollen tube, they said. So that's why the statement is false. In 60% of angiosperms, pollen grains are liberated at 2 cell stage. In 40% of angiosperms, the pollen grains are liberated at 3 cell stage. Those points are very, very important. So please note down all these points and get good marks. Okay, thank you very much, and we will meet in the next class. Okay, bye.